Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. It's a new day, another opportunity to either make money in this market or to just learn from the market. But first, y'all, let me give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And I say it so often, the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. But if you could please like, share, subscribe, y'all. We learn and we grow together. With that being said, let's get started. So we are looking at AMD, and as you can see, we closed at 213.58. Seems like we came down here and bounced off of this level around the 212, and only to have trouble at this 216.07. Now, that is an area of resistance for the ATR trailing stop and a few layers that I have here. So what's interesting is this trend to the upside here. So definitely need to be careful with that, right? So it looks like on this 30-minute chart, it's moving up. However, we're having some trouble here. So where are the trouble places, as I like to say? 216.07. We could possibly have trouble again, 216.43. Again here at 216.83, 217.08. 217.38 and again 217.98. Now if we should break that 217.98, we could possibly have trouble again to 18.59 and breaking that to 19.13. So those are possible areas of resistance for AMD today. Now let's say we break under, I'm going to say this area here around 214.55, which puts us kind of like under that 20 EMA. We could possibly find support here. Y'all see that 50 EMA is right at a level we have marked around the 214.17. And if we should break that, we could very well come back to around this level here of 213.46 and breaking that level 213.13 and under that 212.48. Again here at, let's say, 211.96 and breaking that 211.50. Should we break that 211.50, we can come back to that 211, which was support here from yesterday. So if you're trading AMD, those are possible areas of support and resistance. Again, not financial advice. Let's say we break that 211, we could possibly come back to around the 210.34 and breaking that 209.74 area here was a support area before that, so that's definitely an area I would watch. Again, not financial advice. So again, if you're trading AMD today, those are possible areas of support and resistance. Let's look at Meta today just to see where we are. Looks like we're trading sideways or creating that gathering spot, as I like to say, right? So resistance as of right now, 671.64, which is where our 200 EMA is. However, I did have 671.64 marked. Let's see, back to the upside, we will need to break that. Should we break that level, 673.45, and breaking that, we could possibly have trouble again, 674.43, somewhere around that area. However, breaking that, 675.90, and if we should break the 675.90, 676.44 could be a rejection area for us, and if we should break that, 676.96, those are possible areas of resistance for Meta today. Now, breaking that back to the downside, let's say we break under all of these moving averages here and down to this level of 669.70, right? Because price was here and we had some issues over here with that here. So breaking this level, we could very well come back to, I could very well mark that. Let's mark that. So breaking this level here, we could very well come back to around, let's say, this 668.10 area while price was here in this area. So should we break that again, we can come back to the 667.38, which is kind of close to where our ATR trailing stop is forming now. However, breaking that 665.79, 664.39, and then here at 662.82. And should we break that for Meta, 661.50, which brings us back to this area here. However, breaking that brings us back to 659.89 and again 658.72. So if Meta is something that you trade, I say it so often, y'all, mark your levels. Once it goes against your reason for getting in the trade, get out, right? So we are now looking at NVIDIA. We closed at 190.05, and as you can see, it looks like it too is moving up, right? Only to have some trouble right here at the 192.50. We kind of knew that area, right? So breaking that, back to the upside, we would need to break that 192.50. Again, we could have trouble here at 192.95, 193.23, 193.68. And should we break the 193.68 area, possibly 194.03. Breaking that 194.03, 194.50 could be a rejection area for NVIDIA. Again, not financial advice. Now, let's say we break back to the downside under all of this here. So which puts us kind of like where that 20 EMA is as of now. However, I had the 190, 130 area marked. Now, should we break that, possibly 191.04, and breaking that 190.73? Should we break that? Y'all see the 190.44, which is really close to that ATR trailing stop. That's at 190.53, not very far away. I love to see that, right? So, however, breaking this, in my opinion, could be a strong area of support for NVIDIA. Not financial advice. Breaking that, we could come back to the 190.06. Yes, price gathered here. It bounced from here. So that could be a strong area of support for us at 190.06. Breaking this level and this level, I mean, we've broken through a few layers of strong support, in my opinion. Again, not financial advice. Now, breaking that 190.06, 189.60, and breaking that 189.28. Should we break that 188.92 and breaking that 188.43 puts us back in this zone here, right? So definitely, if you're trading NVIDIA, those are areas that I would watch. What's interesting about NVIDIA is that, we're at that 188.43, breaking that. There's 4 layers of support from that 188.43 area down to the 188.10. So that's a strong area of support. However, breaking that, we've broken through a few layers of support. We could very well come back to the 187.48. So if you're trading NVIDIA today, again, those are possible areas of support and resistance, not financial advice. Let me say that again, not financial advice, right? So we are looking at the SPY, and we closed at 691.96. Yes, after coming off of the 689. Well, we came off of a 697 down to the 689, only to come back up. It too looked to be moving up and created a gathering spot for us. Y'all see that 693.96 area was a support area for us. It's now our resistance now. So back to the upside, we will need to clear back above that 693.96, only to have trouble 694.52, possibly have trouble again at the 695.03. That is where our ATR trailing stop is as of right now. Should we break that level to the upside, 695.54, and breaking that level 695.97, should we break that 696.61, and again here at 697.30, those are possible areas of resistance for the SPY today. Now let's look to the downside. Let's say we break under this 50 EMA and the level here of 693.52. We could very well come back to 692.98. Should we break that, 692.17, that's really close to our 200 EMA as of now. However, breaking that, 691.73, y'all see it, it's right at a level we were here on yesterday, right? So breaking that, we could very well come back to 691.22, 690.89, and again at 689.93. Well, let me make sure, 689.83. And should we break that, it brings us back to the 689.45, which is this area here. However, breaking that, y'all see price came down to 689.18. So those are possible areas of support and resistance for the SPY today. Again, not financial advice. I said so often, make sure you have a reason for getting in your trade, and once it goes against that, get out, right? So we are looking at Tesla, and y'all, I say it so often, Tesla does what Tesla does, right? So we closed at 620. I keep saying 6 from the SPY. We closed at 428.27, and it looks like it too moved up, right? And then we got rejected somewhere around this area, 431.32. See the high of this candle, 431.15, very close, which is kind of close to our ATR trailing stop. So we'll need to get back above all of that in order to try to make its way back to the upside, right? So breaking the 431.59 for Tesla today, we could possibly have trouble 432.22, and if we should break that, 432.62, and breaking that level, possibly 433.50, breaking the 433.50, 434.54, and if we break that 435.11, breaking that 435.11 for the Tesla today, 436.19, we could possibly have trouble there, and breaking that 436.19, 436.99, and again 437.71. So those are possible areas of resistance for Tesla today. Now back to the downside, breaking under the 429.39. What will be interesting for me today with Tesla, if we break under that 428.60, in my opinion, that could be a strong area of support for some reason. I remember 428.60, 422.22, and then the 440.41. Those have been strong areas of support and or resistance for Tesla. So breaking the 428.60, we could very well come back to 428.01. Should we break that, 427.26, you see we were here, right? So breaking that level for Tesla, 426.43, again at 425.62, breaking that brings us back to around the 424.29. We hung out in this area on yesterday, so that's in my opinion, could be a strong area of support. Again, not financial advice. 424.29. Breaking that, however, 423.57 down to the 423.01. So this could be a strong area of support also, right? Because you see price came here and we came to this area on yesterday and we kind of like bounced from there. There were some buyers in this area. So definitely I will be watching Tesla today at the 423.57 down to the 423.01. And should we break that level, we could very well come back to the 422.22 for some reason. Again, I remember that breaking that 421.18. There's a few layers here at the 421.18, one being our 200 EMA at 421.51 down to the 420.95. So breaking that 420.95 for Tesla today, 420.43, and again here at 419.71. So breaking that 419.71, we could very well come back to the 418.62 for Tesla. I say it so often, y'all. Tesla does what Tesla does, right? So if you're trading Tesla today, I say trade carefully, mark your levels, and once it goes against your why or your reason for getting in the trade, get out, right? So again, this is what I see when I look at the market, y'all. I say it often, there's so many different ways to trade the market, and what's challenging at times is trying to figure out the strategy that works best for you and for you to have the discipline to execute your plan. So I hope that you have a plan before going into the trade. So again, I hope that everyone have a very profitable and a very, very productive day today. If you could please like, share, subscribe, y'all. I say it often, we learn and we grow together. So until next time, be blessed as well as a blessing unto others.